There's a special kind of thing inside fighting game players that makes them different than any other gamer. What's up, people? So I wanted to quickly talk today about something that I find very valuable in learning how to play fighting games. I think this is extremely important. Tenacity. So I've talked about this multiple times in streams, and I've mentioned it multiple times in a lot of my MK11 Combat League runs. I want to preface this with, as a fighting game player, I left MK11 because I didn't like MK11. I left it because there were components of the game that just really blinded me from improving as a fighting game player. The reason why this is extremely important for you to keep a mental note of is because if the reason you left the fighting game is because you didn't like the fighting game, that's a different story compared to you left the fighting game because you weren't improving as a fighting game player. Tenacity is an extremely important thing in fighting games. This fighting game philosophy goes throughout all fighting games, and it's the reason why fighting games has never taken off nearly as much as any other game. Shooters, you can pick up a shooter, use a controller, use a mouse and keyboard, point and click, and eventually your aim will just naturally get better. But with fighting games, you have to consistently figure out ways to improve, or you lose. You have to choose to get better. And that's what this kind of motivational video is about. I am not amazing at Street Fighter. I have been playing Street Fighter for almost 100 hours now, and I can barely get down a basic combo. And this is the combo I'm going to talk about. So, Street Fighter is extremely technical, so I'll try to relate it to MK11 because I know there's a lot of people who play MK11. I think a good start with MK11 would be flawless blocks, or if you're playing a character that requires really heavy execution, because overall, like, MK11 is not that hard to learn how to play. So this kind of doesn't transfer over nearly as well, but flawless blocks is a good example. And throws, but I'm gonna save throws for another video. I was learning a combo with Sakura. I had a very easy combo at first. It was this one. Oops. It was this one. Right? Now this one does not give me Oki. And in this game, you can get pretty strong Oki. In this game, basically, long story short for MK11 players that haven't played other fighting games, in this game, to get off the ground, you have to do a reversal shuriken, and you have to meter burn it to make it invincible. And what that means is you burn a bar to get off the ground to do a wake-up attack. So, the wake-up attack, if I try to pressure here and Ryu's knocked down, he will hit me with his wake-up attack. But if I block it, he spends a meter, and he's highly punishable. So, Oki is extremely important in this game when it comes to setting up your frame traps. There's no neutral on the ground kind of thing. So in this particular case, I was doing this combo, but this combo doesn't give me Oki. Ryu can actually poke out of here. Now let me record it so you guys know what I'm talking about. So here's an example of what I mean by this combo does not give you Oki. So as you saw there, when I do this particular combo, he can mash out. But if you notice here, if I do this, I can frame trap him. So what I was trying to do this whole last few weeks, these whole last few hours, last few double digits of hours, before I got triple digits in Street Fighter, I have been trying to link this combo. I even dropped it there, right? And as you can see, that combo is actually much harder because what happens is this game is extremely technical. So critical arts are your super move, but you don't press L2 and R2 like Mortal Kombat. Instead, you have to do down forward, so like down forward, and then an attack button. I think it's like punch, right? And so when you do a DP, which is forward, down, forward, which is a Z input, you get the DP. But the problem is the game, when you're going to do a crouching medium kick, which is this, you're still hitting down, so you can accidentally get critical hearts here, right? So what I had to do was I had to learn a timing where, if you look at the left corner of the screen, it has a diagonal. The diagonal allows you to not accidentally get a critical heart input, and it forces you to put your fingers in between the back of the D-pad and the bottom part of the D-pad. And I've had to learn this timing for the last 3 sessions. And this is exactly what I mean by tenacity, because now, watch what happens when I use Sakura to go for my Oki. Look at that. I still dropped it there. As you can see, I still need to improve in the lab. But as you can see, he can't frame trap. Now he's forced to get off the ground with a shuriken. So he's forced to use meter or to do a backward roll or handstand or whatever the hell it's called in this game. And this took tenacity. I could have taken the easy way out, right? I could have done this. I could have picked a character that doesn't have to use a shuriken. But I chose Sakura because Sakura's bae. And I chose her because she's very well-rounded, and I needed to learn this frame trap. So what did I do? I put my time in the lab. I put my hours in. And this transfers over to every fighting game ever. This transfers over to simple games, even like MK11. If you need to learn how to flawless block on hit stun when someone does an up 3 on hit and goes for pressure on wake up, learn how to flawless block on hit stun. I'm talking to you, Katana players. Katana has one of the best up 2 games in the game. She has one of the best up 3 games in the game. Literally, you can mix between her up 2 and her up 3, and you never have to block as Katana. I don't know why I don't see this more often with Katana players. I think it literally just has to do with the fact that it's very difficult. I'm not bashing Katana players. I'm just saying that tenacity. Think about what it takes to get better as a fighting game player. Think about what it takes to get better as a player. Like, if you're playing and you're losing to the same thing over and over again, it's time to go into the lab, and it's time to figure out what you need to do to counter it. It's time to practice that flawless block technique that you've always wanted to learn. It's time to practice that combo that you keep dropping every single time it goes down to the wire. It's time to practice all those things. Fighting games is not easy, and there's a reason why it's a small niche of players in it. And that's a good thing. I think that fighting game players, without sounding elitist, I think that there's a special kind of thing inside fighting game players that makes them different than any other gamer. I think it's that desire to learn something that's hard to learn. I wouldn't even say it's really desire to be really good. I think it's to learn something that's hard to learn and be good at it. And use that to hone your practice and get very good at the fighting game you enjoy. Again, I want to preface this with, yes, I left MK11, but I left it because I didn't like it, not because I gave up. Find the fighting game you love playing and work hard to get good at the game you enjoy. You enjoy it for a reason, might as well put the time in understanding how the game plays. Anyway, that's all I wanted to talk about today. I'll see you guys later. Thanks for tolerating my ass.